Hello, everyone. We are back. We are back. Dan's internet decided to give up quite badly on us, but full start over. We are ready to go for day 7 of the Propulsion Swimming Olympic live stream. Great to see so many of you back with us. Of course, we're powered by AP. Dan, how are you doing? Are you okay? Have you survived the internet crash?
Slightly frustrated, but I'm trying to reset my mind to get back into it. The first comment's quite funny. No, I have seen the swimming. It's no excuse. But yeah, a little frustrating. False start, but yes, the laptop is back up and running and the internet's going again. So yes, let's crack on. Let's get on with it.
Okay, brilliant. Before we get into today's heats, today's finals, of course, we need to give a massive thank you to Adam PT's own brand AP for powering this live stream. They are really looking to revolutionize the sport of swimming over the next few years. They've already set up the really helpful AP Race Plus platform, which is there to support not only swimmers, but the coaches and parents as well. And if you do want to get coached by Adam or any of his team, you can sign up for the AP Race Clinics by following the link in the description of this live stream, as well as the one that's on your screen right now. Dan, I'm going to let you kick things off because it's been a frustrating start for you. We'll start with the men's 100 meters butterfly.
Yes. Yeah.
Much to take away?
I don't know what you want to think about it. I went into it thinking it's a 2-horse race. And actually, really, realistically, it's just a 1-horse race followed by the other horse that's going to be behind by half a second or so. What do I honestly, my first takeaway was it only took a 51.3 to make the final. Surprised by that, actually. I thought it'd be a little bit quicker than what that.
And you say a 51.3 to make the final. I believe there were only 3 guys who went sub 51.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a fairly slow final, this. And I know Jimmy Guy's dad put out a tweet that Jimmy's actually looking at these times and he's a tiny bit gutted that he had to drop it for the relays.
Yeah.
Because actually on paper right now, he's a clear third. So
yeah, he is.
Is it a case of the guys just holding back? They know they're not going to beat Dressel and just see what to do? Or is this another slow morning semi-final?
Well, in terms of Dressel and Milak, I think there's more to come. I think Milak will be extremely close to going sub 50. I think he just misses it. I think that's his ultimate goal, is to go sub 50. I think the gold is out of reach for him. Dressel's got more to give. I've got no doubts about it. I think he's saving so much on that first 50. Plus, he does his, what he did in the 100 free, where he just holds his breath for the last 15 meters. He's got that in the tank as well. There's so much to come. I fully expect a world record to be going from him.
Okay. Yes, so do I. How low?
So the world record as of right now is 49.5, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's a relatively big chunk, to be honest with you. I reckon it's going to be like 49.3 or something like that. It's quite big.
See, I'm looking at what he went today, 49.71. Comfortable.
Yeah, it was comfy.
I want to say he might even go at 48, but I'd put a big asterisk in the fact that at US trials he looked that comfortable in the semi-finals, the heats, and when it got to the final, he just didn't quite. It was the tension, but he's now got that first individual gold. Maybe that tension's gone slightly.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering with like Adam as well. That the pressure event is over, or the first event for Dressel is over, because he wasn't really in. It was very much flip a coin for the 100 free title, whereas this 100 fly he's really odds on to win. Same with the 50 free. I think he's just relaxing into it now, and I just think he's going to absolutely smash it. I think he's going to go half a second quicker than what he did today. 49.2, 49.3, something along those lines, I think. Okay. Which is going to be massive.
I think Milak goes under 50 as well. I really do. I thought he'd do it at Europeans, but another shot now. He still looks the most unhappy swimmer after a race. Maybe that is the high standards he holds himself to. I was really against it in the 200 fly, but he had that tough preparate 10 minutes beforehand. Now I'm just used to it now.
Yeah. I think he is time orientated. I think the medal for silver for him is almost guaranteed, if I'm going to be honest about it. And he clearly wanted to go a world record in his 200. I think to go sub 50 is a good marker for him. I'm sure it's an aim of his. It'd be interesting if he does go 49 point. Let's go 49.9 and see his reaction then, because I'd be very, very surprised if he is stone faced and he's gone 49.8 or something like that. I'd be really surprised.
I'm
And then kind of questioning, like, what is your aim in this race? What is your aim in swimming? I
He
don't
thought
really
he could beat
understand.
Dressel.
Yeah, maybe you need that mentality as a swimmer. Of course, you can't go into that race thinking, "Oh, unfortunately, Dressel's gone." You got to go in there thinking, "I can beat him." You know, I'm going to come back and get him on that last 50. But I think that's the ultimate aim. But the biggest takeaway, as well as it being relatively slow, but the fight for bronze is still up for grabs. It really is. I don't know who's going to take it. To be honest with you, who do you reckon?
Oh, nor do I. I think No Ponty. If that's how
he
you
looked good.
correctly say it, he did look good. He was the only one sub 51 with those two. He is kind of the standout there. Otherwise, I still like Matt Temple. He looked really good at Aussie trials, but he's just not quite shown up yet.
Yeah, I mean, his turns are still very good. It's just the bits in the middle, the swim speed, that's not up to his normal self. But I'm still wondering whether there's more left in the tank for Melidinov. If I'm going to pick a third, it'll be him.
Okay.
And then you've got, of course, Minikov as well. So there's 4 of them trying to squeeze into a bronze medal. Fascinating. I think the race is going to be overall quite interesting. You're going to see, I think, a world record from Dressel. Hopefully Milak goes sub 50, and then the fight for bronze. It's actually going to be a really entertaining race.
Women's 200 meters breaststroke then. 3rd world record of the Olympics to go, and this one fully deserved. She has been absolutely class as Schoenmaker this whole Olympics. I've really loved watching her race.
Yeah, and it looks like she's a swimmer favorite as well. You could see all the girls at the very end, the 2 Americans and the 2 South Africans gathering at the end of the pool, celebrating together, because I think they realized how much of a big swim that was. The first person ever to go under 2:19, and we were questioning whether that world record was going to go beforehand. And I'm kind of glad it did. It's gone to the right person. Fantastic swim from her. We're still a very weird technique, but obviously it works for her very well.
Yeah.
So yes, it's a fantastic
Perfectly
swim from her.
paced race.
Massive world record. Yeah.
Lily King in silver. For me, that was a little bit of surprise. A little bit of a surprise. I didn't see Lily King as a 200-meter breaststroke swimmer because she's never done anything on the world stage for it before. But to go 2:19 is impressive. I do have question marks whether she targeted this 200 slightly too much to try and do the double, and it really impacted her at 100. So maybe she thought the 100 was in the bag. I think all of us did. She was so far ahead of the world, and the times that she's been hitting over the past few years is nuts. So maybe she said, you know what, that one's in the bag. Let's work on a bit more distance. Let's try and do that too, which I've never been overly successful at, which might have cost her the speed in that 100.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's missed out on gold overall. Really, she's missed out on I mean, she was never really in my head going to be winning gold in the 200, but definitely gold in the 100. That was a big shock for me. The thing I took away from it, very similar to what you're kind of saying, concentrating on the 200, but there's American trials where Annie Laser was. I can't remember off the top of my head as such, but it was a family issue, family death, or something along those lines, personal reason.
It was her mum or someone like that.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what it was, but she wanted Annie Laser to represent the country for the Olympics and try and get a medal. And I do think
Lily King are training partners, aren't they?
Yeah, I think Lily King was trying her absolute best to try and get Laser on the podium. And I think that's what they were training for.
Do you reckon both of them, therefore, have really targeted this too? And like I'm saying, to get Annie Laser on the team, to get her on the podium, and then, like I've said, that has impacted her 100 quite dramatically.
I think so. I think it's a pretty good theory. I think it could be true. I mean, we could be completely wrong, but it does make sense a little bit that because she did really well. 2:19.2. That's a 2-second PB.
It's impressive. That was
really
impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it's brave. I mean, there's not many swimmers. I mean, we saw Kaminga do it in the men's side. There's not many people that go out hard on a 200 breaststroke and then hold on. Yeah, I mean, the stroke was getting shorter as it would with fatigue, but she held on to go sub 2:20, which is good. I mean, the world record beforehand was 2:19 low. I mean, she's not too far away from the original-ish, if you like. So very good swim, really good swim from her. Very impressive.
On the British side, Molly and Abby. Little bit. I mean, you felt for them afterwards doing the interview. You could see it on their faces. They were disappointed with that. They know there's more in the tank, especially Molly. I mean, going in, I thought she was a surefire medal.
Yeah, so did I.
It's a shame. It's a shame. I think Molly got really hurt by being next to Lily King, especially with Lily King going out quite so hard. She was, again, left on a complete island in a lane which you think she was in the wrong lane.
Well, everyone listening, you can tell me who entered fastest into the final. Was it Molly or Abby?
It was Molly.
More than certain it was Molly. And so if Molly was going in quicker, why was she in lane 1 and then Abby in lane 7? Surely Molly should have been in lane 7, Abby in lane 1. Yeah. Really confused by I'm sure you don't get to choose your lanes. That doesn't happen. Of course, it goes in as times.
I'll tell you what, I've got my notes here from yesterday, so you talk and I'll check.
Okay. I'm disappointed. Not disappointed. I'm actually devastated for Molly, to be honest with you. We went in saying that she was going to win a medal. We didn't know which color. I mean, we were hoping for gold, but we didn't realize Schoenmaker was going to be so strong. She looks really devastated in the interview, and I think rightly so. And she was saying that the lead up was perfect, and it was. Yeah. I mean, she swam really well at Europeans, obviously amazing at trials. Half decent at Glasgow, but they were in a training cycle and a hard block just then.
No, Abby did go in faster than Molly.
Oh, she did she? Okay. Well, that
I've just checked. That solves that one. You watch that interview afterwards, and there is a danger that both of them could fall into the category of, I don't know, struggling to get out of the hole, if that makes sense. Okay. After the Olympics, it's always hard to pick yourself back up. Even if you've won, it's hard to pick yourself back up and get back into training.
I suppose so.
The advantage both of these girls have now, and they said it in the interview, ISL is 3 weeks away. And what I'm really interested to, I think we might even try and get Molly on the podcast, is have a chat with them and see how ISL helps them move on from disappointment, whether it's quick racing comes so fast after the Olympics that you have no time to think about any failures. You're straight back into it. You're having fun. You're having racing again. I think that's a really, really good thing, especially for these people who haven't quite shown up, but we know are good at ISL. So Joe Litchfield is a prime one going off in my head. He could suddenly put the whole Olympics behind him, and his confidence is back where it was to start with. I think Cassie. It is a really important thing for them.
Yeah, because Cassie's going to be swimming at the ISL for the first time this year as well. And I do wonder, because there's only 3 weeks. 3 weeks in between.
3 weeks, yeah.
The end of
close.
Tokyo and ISL. So they'll probably have like a week off or something like that. And then they get straight back into it. So there's not too much time to sort of dwell on it, I suppose. I was going to kind of say that Abby and Molly are both in the same squad as Max, and I think Max knows the best how to deal with.
I was going to say that. I am so glad he is there as like a father figure for these people, especially because most of that squad, given all of the promise, it's a little bit disappointing Olympics for most of them. But Max is there. He's come back from it before, and he's got another fourth at the Olympics. He's pretty good.
Yeah, because I think James will need a bit of a pickup as well, because he was. I mean, he had high expectations. And
he shouldn't need picking up. He was really good.
He should be happy. It won't take as long to get over. It wasn't even. He swam well. He did swim well, and really they all swam well. Abby had a really good swim. I think maybe a second off her PB. Molly was about 1 or 2 seconds off her PB. So they are good swims. It just didn't happen. It's very difficult to explain. Sometimes athletes, it just works on it just clicks and it happens, and then other times it's just that it just didn't happen on the day, and it seemed to be that was Molly's day where it just didn't work, unfortunately. But
luckily Paris is close, the ISL is really close. I think the kind of the next shortened cycle, and especially the really quick bounce back into racing, is going to be so good for mental well-being for these guys. I think it's going to be so important.
Yeah, especially if they do well, of course, as well, which they have done of recent years. So yeah.
Men's 200 meters backstroke. A GB medal, Dan. I need to put it on the board.
You better put it on. Yeah, of course.
There we go. Luke Greenbank with a bronze. Over the moon for him. Over the moon. I still think maybe he could have got silver. Maybe. But if I'm taking away from anything, actually the 1, 2, 3 was dictated by their turns and nothing more. Literally just their turns.
That was literally what I said yesterday, wasn't it? I mean, swim speed, they're very much the same. I'd probably edge it to Luke ever so slightly, but it's the smallest of margins on the swim speed. But it came down to turns, and I thought that Murphy had the best turns in the world. Turns out now Rylov seems to be actually
really good,
head and shoulders above Murphy. I'm like, oh my word, awesome, just awesome. I mean, he deserved the medal. He was the best. He's done the 1 and 2 double, which is phenomenal. I mean, he's basically taken over from Murphy, which is outstanding. But yeah, turns play a big factor in backstroke. So any youngsters listening in, practice those turns. Get to 15 meters underwater because you are quicker under the water than you are on top, especially on backstroke.
Yeah, I have a fair few kind of takeaways from this, kind of outside of the pool. If we talk about Luke inside the pool, impressive. He's only 23. Paris is around the corner. You said he dropped his time from Worlds when he won bronze by like a second and a half in 18 months,
give
2
or take,
years.
Yeah.
Really impressive from Luke. I think there's a lot to come from him.
Definitely.
200 is definitely his event, not the 100.
Yeah.
Then outside of the pool. So beforehand, I have no idea why Aaron Pearsall's world record was getting mentioned about on Twitter and places like that. I have no idea because that's an untouchable one. And as good as Rylov is, he's not going to 2 seconds faster than that.
Yeah, there are some world records which you don't speak about for about 10 to 15 years. I mean, that's one of them. The 200 fly from yesterday on the women's side is another one. Paul Beedman's 200 free is another one. I mean, there's a lot that you just don't talk about as of right now because they are set in stone for a little while yet. And that is one of them.
Yeah. And then elsewhere, Ryan Murphy. Right. So if anyone doesn't know, in the press, he's been talking about Russian doping, and he didn't mention Rylov specifically, but when you finish second to a Russian, you're kind of aiming it at him.
Yeah, of course.
If I'm honest, he was obviously very disappointed, and I think I've done a little bit of digging, and there's some PDs, which are kind of excused drugs like asthma inhalers that you're allowed to take, and I think Rylov was given one. From what I've read, the issue I have is don't say these things when you finish second.
Yeah,
I understand this topic. This topic needs to be talked about. It really does. But you come across as a sore loser, and no one takes you seriously. And even if someone said his comments are taken out of context, even if they are, I think he said he just didn't want to talk about it while he was concentrating on swimming, which to me is kind of weak. It's a weak excuse. I think he shouldn't have said these things straight after finishing second to Rylov. I think maybe in 4 weeks' time, when the dust has settled a bit and you can make a sensible statement to the media saying you're not happy about things and things might get taken a bit more seriously. Whereas now you're going to have a lot of kickback from a lot of people, which is not what this topic needs.
It's not. It's suddenly turned into, again, America versus Russia, and it doesn't need to be like that. It's the timing is absolutely shocking from Murphy. To be honest with you, like you said, 4 weeks. Give yourself time to settle down, like take in, reflect of what you've just done. Murphy did all right. Yes, he wanted the gold, and Rylov was just the better. But you can't be accusing people just because they're Russian. Doesn't mean that they're just odds-on cheaters. That's the way I took it.
Even if he wasn't directly speaking about Rylov, I'm fine with that. Well, he didn't outright say, but the way it's come across, it is outright aimed at him, it's just unfair. And then what I have even more of a problem is Luke has just won a fantastic bronze medal. He's over the moon with it. And as you're doing the media interviews, Luke is bronze, so he comes up next. And he's thrown under the bus completely, having to answer these questions about, how do you feel about doping, Luke, in Russia? And he's just like, I've just won bronze. I kind of want to enjoy this moment. Why am I asking these questions? I thought that was entirely unfair on him.
It's very much a deer in headlights, and I'm sure he was a bit like, whoa, where's this come from? And so he has to do the proper media speech and spiel just to like please everyone. Like, well, yes, we don't want cheaters in the pool and blah blah blah, but I'm happy with my bronze.
It's overshadowed his achievement because he's had to come out and say these statements, and obviously the British media are going to pick up on that one little sentence that's get taken out of context. Felt it's all bad timing, really. That's all it is.
It's just horrible timing. And what was Murphy saying? He didn't want to talk about it during the swim. Well, I'm sure he's got another relay to come. So why has he said it now when he's still swimming, or he's got another event coming up? It's all bad. All bad. If Murphy is at fault here, I don't agree with anything.
And the topic's bad. It's not that we defend the topic.
We are very against cheaters. I think we've made that perfectly clear from the outset. And if Ryloff has cheated, then we will actually hammer him down. But I don't think he has. I just think
I
Murphy,
don't know.
he's taken it badly. He's taken it badly, I think.
It's come across badly, even if he hasn't taken it badly.
Yeah.
Right. We'll move on to the women's 100 meters freestyle, which was by far the fastest 100 meters freestyle of all time for the women. And
Really
my
good.
God, was this a very good race.
Really, really good. I think I got my predictions right, didn't I, with my top 3? Or did I say Sostrom would be podium? Can't remember now. But the top 2, I think, were definitely favourites to get this gold and silver. And Emma Mckeon is just on fire this meet. She's doing so well. Olympic record and the second person in history to go under 52.
You stole my fact.
Oh, sorry about that. Well, I wrote it down as well. That is some going, really some going. And I'm really looking forward to a 50-meter final later on. That's the last day, isn't it? Last day of finals, 53.
Last day. For GB, Anna Hopkin, unlucky 7th. I think she could have finished, from 7th to 3rd, potentially, maybe
Honestly,
4th.
Yeah.
She's in very, very good form. To go within 0.1 of your PB, which was set in an evening, and I think she prefers evening finals like most swimmers.
Like most.
I put her up there in that top echelon of female sprinters now. I think she's phenomenal. And I'm actually gutted. I'm full-on gutted she had to drop the 53 for the relays. Because I think she's been the best starter of the whole of the meet. Her first 25 is phenomenal.
It's a very similar situation to Jimmy dropping the 100 fly, where she might look at those times and think, in the 50 I'm talking about, she might look at those times and think, oh, I could have made the final, and then, whatever could happen, especially on a 50, someone might have a bad start, I might have a good start and get there. I think overall she's had a fantastic meet so far. We need her to do one more good race in the mixed relay to beat the American freestyler, whoever that's going to be. I assume it's Weitzel. I don't know. Could be Manuel.
Who's not had a good meet so far. Weitzel was the only one of this 100 freestyle who was cut adrift a little bit. I think that bodes really... Sounds horrible. I think it bodes quite well for GB, going into the mixed medley, that there's a little bit of question marks about their finisher.
Yeah, I mean, we never want to put a swimmer down, of course, but try and do your best, of course. But in terms of GB thoughts and mindset, I think, it definitely does help and puts you in a bit of a positive mindset. Actually, we are going to finish stronger than the States, which is encouraging.
Very encouraging.
Yeah, I think there was... Honestly, when Kate Campbell finished 0.3 ahead of Anna, it didn't look like a 0.3. It looked like they all finished at the same time. I was like, oh, wow. So it looked closer than what it was. And she could have snuck a bronze in there. She really could have. And in a way, very unlucky. But she could have finished 4th. It should have anywhere from 3rd to 7th. And
I think I read the top 5 went faster than the last Olympic gold.
I've read that somewhere as well.
Which just shows just how fast that race was.
Oh, it was
very
rapid.
Impressive.
I did have another stat actually, whether it's true or not, I can't quite remember. But of course, this is Kate.
Dan, check your sources.
This is Kate Campbell's 4th Olympics, right? That's definitely right. That bit. And this is her first time getting a medal in this event individually.
Really?
I think so. Don't quote me on this. I think that's right.
I'm going to search that while we're going.
If you want to search that, that's fine. But I think that's her first medal in this event, which is crazy to think because, she's so dominant in the 4x1 relay, winning gold pretty much every single time. Yeah, I thought it was. Mental to say that, isn't it?
Whoa.
Yeah. And she's always been at the top of the 100-meter tree, if you like, but never performed.
She has, but never at the Olympics. Never at the Olympics.
So there you go. Interesting facts for you.
Men's 200 meters IM. Well, there's another medal to add on to our board.
Yes, absolutely.
Not the medal Duncan was wanting. You could tell he was gutted, but little bit more perspective on this one than the 200 meters freestyle. He got beaten by the fastest time in the world that year, and Duncan set a 0.7 PB, which is massive. That is a massive PB to do at a world final. He gave absolutely everything and just got beaten by the better guy. I think he took his hat off to Wang Shun or Shun Wang, whichever way round it is, who goes a 155 flat. Very good race.
Again, reminiscence of the 200 free, really, where he's just been beaten by the better and faster guy on the day. I mean, it's just, in a way, very unlucky, but on reflection, I mean, it's a 0.7 PB, like you say. It's a British record. It's a Commonwealth record. It's just a massive swim. And I love the tactics he used. He did everything he could to win that race. Pushed the breaststroke
was
so
phenomenal.
hard, which is amazing. The stroke rate was so good. Kept that momentum, and I suppose you could say maybe he used too much breaststroke speed and then faltered on the front crawl, but he had to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, he was breathing to his right, so he's looking at Michael Andrews. So before the race started, I thought, brilliant, he's going to be looking at Michael Andrews so he can reel him in. But unfortunately, the guy on the left was
That didn't even matter.
The guy on the left was the one to watch.
So Duncan Scott now becomes is it the first swimmer to win 3 medals at the Olympics for GB?
I think so.
Yeah.
Since 1908?
The most no, he's equal most decorated.
Oh, that's right.
Equal most decorated GB athlete at 1 Games, and he's got the 4x1 medley relay to make himself the most decorated at 1 Games. He's got 5 Olympic medals overall. I got a question for you, Dan. I know PT is phenomenal, and he's setting the world alight. Is Duncan, I'm not going to ask you if he's the best British swimmer. Is he the key to pushing swimming out into public exposure a little bit more?
Probably, because actually he's got a really good personality. I don't know if you heard his interview where he was joking about puberty and stuff like that.
It's in puberty, yeah.
Yeah. The personality, the character you can see is coming out every time he speaks on telly or in media. And that will do wonders for not just his public profile, but actually in generating interest in the sport, especially in Scotland. Scotland effectively is a different country compared to us at England or Wales, and the interest in swimming is going to be massive because of him, especially because he's going to get big media following if he wins, or actually when he wins his next medal.
He's only 24 as well. So come Paris, when he's 27, he's in his prime. He's going to get another, let's just say for now, another 3 medals. You'd hope. That pushes his tally to 8, which is far and away the most a British athlete has ever got. And therefore swimming's top of that news reporting pile, basically. I'm just looking forward to see how much press interest he gets after the Olympics.
Yeah, I reckon there'll be a lot in Scotland. And then from the UK point of view, I've got no idea. I mean, it should be just as, if not more than what Adam gets.
Yeah,
because
agreed.
Yes, Adam, we've said this. I mean, I've said it for years and years and years now, but ever since we started Propulsion Swimming, I've said it for the last 2 years, that Duncan Scott is one to watch for in multiple races. He does multiple different distances, multiple events, super versatile. And now you can see his personality, a character coming through. It's almost like a complete package. He just needs more Olympic golds. He's just been so unfortunate from that point of view.
He has.
But
no individual goal just yet. But Paris is coming, faster than usual. And
he's getting quicker and quicker as well. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he's able to go sub 144 in his 200 breaststroke in 3 years. 200 free.
Wow.
Wow, that would be quick. In 200 free, sub 144, and that's a very elite group if he joins that. And then the 200 IM, I mean, if you look at that final, it's not the youngest of finals. I don't actually know how old Wang Shun is.
He's quite young.
Michael Andrew is young, but that's another talk. We'll get to him. But it's not the youngest of fields. So maybe he could be the main guy in 3 years' time as well. So future's bright for him, most certainly. Yeah. Most certainly.
We desperately need to get him on the podcast. We need to pull a few strings and ask a few people and see if we can get him on.
Yes,
because I am truly excited to have a chat with him.
Yeah.
Okay, Michael Andrew then.
Okay.
I said to you in the live stream yesterday, he was more likely to miss the podium than win gold.
Yep.
Lo and behold, he misses the podium very comfortably. Comfortably. I think people are being harsh on him.
That's what I was going to take away.
I have no problem at all with his tactic. At all. I think that is the only way his skill set and his training can swim a 200-meter IM. I think maybe they got his taper wrong because he looks pretty tired. He is young. He's really young. People still forget this. He's only, 22?
Maybe even 21, 22.
21,
really
first young. Olympics. We saw what the pressure did to him at US trials. He must be under barrels of it. And the fact that America aren't really supporting him From what I've seen, pretty much the whole of America are against him, which is very, very weird for American kind of sport and swimming. They're usually completely behind every swimmer, but for some reason, he's like a polarizing
Get that right.
figure. And fifth at your first, no one really does much at their first Olympics. Caleb Dressel didn't win an Olympic individual at his first Olympics.
No.
I think come Paris, he is going to be very, very dangerous in a multiple of events. I just think maybe he's getting a little bit too much attacked, or not too much attacked, too much stick.
Yeah, I think he should be given praise, actually, for trying something different. I said this yesterday with his training method. He should be given praise because you never know. Someone's got to try something different to see if there's another way to, I don't know, get quicker. Because at some points, there's going to be a line where no one can get quicker by doing the same old traditional hard yardage, etc. So I praise Michael Andrew and his dad, of course, his coach, for trying something different. And unfortunately, he's so good at each stroke over 50 meters distance, which you think, okay, perfect, 200 IM is ideal. But you do need that little bit of aerobic behind you. The front crawl is so questionable. I think he needs to work on his technique on his front crawl. Let's put that right first.
You say that, though. On the 53 today, you look fine.
Yeah, it's very odd.
Swim like that. Just swim straight arms. Stop going in by your ear. Just go straight.
Yeah, I honestly, I think he should be. The stick needs to come off him a little bit. I mean, the it's not abuse, but it's attacking. It's attacking from these Americans, and you got to remember the guy is 21, 22. That's the same as attacking Tom Dean, for example. He's the same sort of age, and you think, hang on a minute, it is his first Olympics. I mean, I think he tapered 4 trials. His ultimate aim was to make the Olympic team because he missed it in Rio by, I can't remember how much, like half a second on his 100 breaststroke. And he really wanted to represent the country. And rightly so. I think every swimmer, that's their dream, And he's coming to this Olympics. He's number 1 seed. But as you said, it's difficult to turn a good performance from your first Olympics. You see that from a lot of GB swimmers, a lot of Americans, a lot of every country. Because they put so much pressure on themselves, let alone their own country's medias. I think it's okay. The time is pretty poor from him, but ultimately he'll come back stronger from this, and he's going to be a big threat come Paris if he makes it. Of course, but he should do.
Someone put on Twitter today to us, he should have targeted the 100 fly, and I actually completely agree with them because his 100. He found out the person who put it to us. Kudos to him. He gave us Michael Andrews' 100 fly time, which is a 50.5. Yeah, that's a bronze. That's a bronze.
Yeah. It's interesting. They're going to have to They're going to have to reflect, review everything that he's done this year, because a lot of it has been good. Yes. Going up to trials, it's been really good, but it just hasn't happened 4 weeks after trials, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's not doing ISL this year either, so he's going to have a break. He's going to have a well-deserved break.
Yeah, so I praise him for doing the different training method to see the limits of the human body, I suppose. And I praise his coach, for his dad, for trying something different. And you never know, it might work in 3 years' time. He's 21. He's maybe still developing. He needs to go. He needs to go in the gym and different stuff he could try out. So I think we're all being too harsh. We're all being a bit too harsh on him. So yeah.
Women's 200 meters backstroke. Is this one of the most disappointing races so far of the Olympics? Because this to me, everyone's still coasting. I don't quite understand it. There's been no fast times whatsoever.
Do you know what I said to you? Didn't I? That this is the one event that I was really looking forward to, up until Regan Smith.
When it was Regan Smith, yeah.
Until she missed out, I was like, oh, such a shame, because I was really looking forward to that head-to-head between her and Mckeon. And these swimmers they've just done enough to just get through. I mean, what was the fastest time going through to the semi-final? It was 2:08.1, I think it was. And then to qualify for this final was 2:08.7. And I go back again to Cassie Wild, who has gone 2:07 at Europeans. She would be in a great shot of medaling based on these times as of right now. So again, I'm going to go back to saying it's an opportunity miss, but I'm not sure what's going. Well, I do know what's going on. They know that the field isn't deep enough. It's not deep enough.
Yeah, it's
so
quite a big field.
They can cruise it into the final, and then we might see fireworks in the final, of course. But the rounds have been less than impressive, really.
I mean, the one name to miss out at this stage is Panziera. Which is a big shock because she's European champion. She won Europeans in a very impressive time. She looked really strong. I thought she was potentially kind of a podium threat to the two Australians, the two Americans. Turns out between Europeans and Olympics, she got COVID and had it pretty bad from the sounds of it, and it's completely wiped her out. Yeah. That's the only reason she's missed. And then the rest of the names who've made the final, fully expected. Yeah, and then it's, what is it? It's 2 Americans, 2 Australians, 2 Canadians, 2 Chinese. Yep. Oh my God.
Yep. And you've got to try and squeeze.
Like a jewel in the pool.
It's a little bit like that. Yeah. A bit like ISL, I suppose, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I still think Kaylee Mckeon is the one to beat. She's going in 5th fastest because she just knew that she had to cruise it in. No problems whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because she is still PB +3 based off that time. And if she, hopefully she can go she can go 2:03, so potentially could be PB +4 right now. It's an interesting race. I hope it takes off in the morning. To be honest with you, because the Americans are usually quite dominant at this, but as of right now, it could be the 2 Australians that take 2 of those medals of the 3. We will see.
It's really hard to predict what happens in tomorrow's final because so far we've not seen anything really, anything to take away or whatever.
It's been so difficult to. We kind of like were solid on Kaylee Mckeon winning just based off her PB compared to everyone else, but everyone else, it's so difficult to take anything away. I've got no idea.
I don't know where they're at.
No idea. No idea. So we were clutching at straws, to be honest with you, but hopefully it takes off tomorrow in the morning. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
I'm actually going to get up tomorrow morning, Dan, and watch it. So the working week is done. It's Friday. I obviously don't have work at the weekend. So I am 2 a.m. club. I am looking forward to it. I'll be on Twitter. I'll have some fun. Probably in my day's state. I'll put a fair few typos.
It's quite difficult getting up at 2 because I did the tactic of not staying up. I actually went to bed and then got back up. That for the 200 free for the men. Difficult to get up, and well done to everyone who is getting up every single morning. But I think it's definitely worth it. As soon as we don't have work this weekend, I think it's worth it, especially with the relays that we have coming up.
Do you reckon I just stay up? Don't go to bed. Just stay up till like 4 a.m. and really feel the pain at then.
You did that at uni. It's no problem. Coffee exists.
I did it all the time at uni. All the time. I can do an all-nighter without fail. Thank you, architecture degree. Right, guys, that is the finals reviewed. We are going to get on to the heats and talk about all of these medley relays. We're going to have some fun discussing what sort of lineups could happen, where GBs sit, especially on the men's side. They missed the women's side. We won't. Well, no, we will address that. We're going to have a quick 60-second ad break. If you've got any questions to throw to us, now's a really good time to put them in the chat. We'll address them before we get into the heats, and we will see you in 60 seconds' time.
We would like to thank our partner AP for powering this live stream. AP is a brand built by our very own Olympic champion, Adam Peaty. Adam and his team's vision over the next few years is to revolutionise the sport of swimming through various different projects and events for all swimmers, coaches and parents. They have already launched AP Race Plus, which is a revolutionary online platform that provides you with world-class support and access to Adam Peaty's own support team of nutritionists, psychologists and many more. You can even meet Adam and be coached by himself and his team over the next few weeks at the AP Race Clinics, which will be held towards the end of August. You can find details of this tour and the AP projects in the description of this live video. Thanks again to AP for powering the Propulsion Swimming Olympic live stream.
Okay then, Dan. Day 7 heats, and we kick things off with my favorite, the 50 meters freestyle. Do you want to try and break it down, or do you want to let me lead off?
You can lead off. I mean, it's a splash and dash. I mean, it's very difficult to look at any techniques as such. They all have real straight arms. But yes, you lead the way.
What are you talking about? I've got loads of technique points here.
Okay, crack on. Let's go. Let's go.
I got tons. To start with, Popovici and Wang, way too short for those guys. I think they are both the future of 200 meters freestyle.
I agree with you on that.
Even 100 might actually be too short for them.
Yep.
The 50, they're youngsters. Really looking forward to what they do in the longer distances in the future.
I agree with you on that.
Okay, we'll start with Ben Proud because he is GB's hopeful in this, only hopeful. Yep. I have going into the Olympics, I had massive hopes for him on the podium. Today, those are wavering. Those are really wavering because what did he go at 21.9?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not impressive. And I know people were saying he had a bad start. I think that was just Dressel looked so good next to him. I actually thought he wasn't catching water and he looked like he was fading slightly in the last 10, which is mildly concerning. Behind the blocks, he looked nervous. He looked really nervous.
First race.
He usually is behind the blocks waiting. He's strutting around. He's a big guy. Before he was hanging back with Dressel. I don't know what it was. Like you said, first race of the Olympics, I think took its toll slightly. Cobweb's done. He's lucky to make it through. I'm hoping for big things in the semi-final.
I'm kind of hoping he pulls a Wilby and finishes low down going from the heats to semis and then suddenly Bush up to second, or because I think Dressel is by far and away the best in the field right now.
Yeah, I think gold is gone.
Yeah, I think the world record goes. I've been saying that for 2 years.
Ooh.
I've been saying that for 2 years, so we'll see. But going back to Ben Proud, the time is not impressive, especially when you know he's gone 21.4, which is half a second over 50, which is a ton. That's a whole entire stroke, maybe stroke and a half. So hopefully he puts it right. The start wasn't as good as what he could do, admittedly, but it's not from the scale of what everyone is saying. Like it was a disastrous start. It wasn't perfect. I still rate him as the second best starter in the world, behind Dressel, of course. But there's more to come.
I hope I'm second now, my friend.
Okay, I don't know about that, but Ben Proud is hopefully going to put something right, because I kind of agree with you. Something wasn't quite slipping in the water. Something I don't quite know, but he didn't look his normal self. But he's got through, so he's got another chance to put it right. So yeah,
if in fairness, I think it's nerves, and I always compare Ben Proud straight to Manadou. They are basically training partners. I know, given COVID for the past 6 months, they haven't been, but they are both pupils of the James Gibson school of sprint. Yeah. And he's phenomenal. And whatever Manadou does, Ben Proud usually matches. They're pretty much on the same wavelength. And Manadou goes into the semi-finals second fastest. So I would have thought, on form basis, Ben Proud's about there. It just didn't happen in this race. That's my thinking with it.
That could come down to experience, because Manadou is close to 30. I know Ben Proud is in his mid to late 20s now. What is he now? 26?
Same age as me. 26, 27.
Something along those lines. So maybe it's a little bit more experience from Manadou. You got to remember that he is Olympic champion once upon a time, Manadou, and the silver medalist as well. So, he's done it. He's been there, got the T-shirt, and so he knows exactly what to do to get through the rounds. I think there is more to come from Ben. I wouldn't be, I would be shocked if he missed the final. Because we've got hopes on him building this medal tally here at the bottom.
Yeah, we do.
So is it nervous? I'm not nervous. I believe in Ben.
I'm a bit twitchy. I'm a little bit twitchy.
I think you'll be all right.
I don't think through the rounds in a 50 meter at a major meet, I don't think you make massive improvements. That's my only worry. Other than Dressel, who is 0.3 ahead of the field, which in a 50 meters is ginormous. Other names that stood out: Brent Hayden makes an Olympic semi-final at the age of 37. Massive kudos to him. Massive kudos. Obviously, you can go a little bit older when you're swimming 50s, but that's still mighty impressive.
Reminiscence of Anthony Irvin.
Yeah,
and he won it. He won it last time.
I don't think that happens.
No, I don't think it happens, but
Michael Andrew obviously made it through. I'm not going to talk too much about that. Other names that really stood out: Bruno Fratas looks strong. Tom de Boer from the Netherlands, I think he's been in some cracking form.
He has.
At Europeans, he was really good. For some reason, the Netherlands, they swam some short course racing before the Olympics, and he broke all sorts of short course national championship records. I don't quite know why they swam short course so close to the Olympics, but he looked good. He looked really good.
It works for him, or working for
And
him as of right now,
Kuminga
and
did it as well.
It works beautifully for Kuminga. I mean, 2 silvers is very good going for him. So maybe that's what they're going to do from now on. Well, those two anyway. Hasn't really worked for Dutch girls, though, has it? So I don't know if they were raced. I'm not quite sure. Yeah. Anyway, more names.
Elsewhere for me on the podium, I'm gonna put Golomev there.
Oh,
from Greece.
Yeah,
he looked really, really good, and I think he was in the same heat as Kalashnikov. Kalashnikov, man, work on your finishes, because he is 10 meters away from international gold all the time. But his finishes, again, just let him down. Just really let him down.
I don't know what he does. Does he not know the difference between the flags and the wall? It's 5 meters.
Maybe he needs a pair of glasses and can't spot his finish.
Possibly.
Maybe it's as simple as that.
I don't know if he needs glasses or wears glasses on a regular basis. I've got no idea.
Nor do I. I'm just plucking something out of thin air, because it happens every time. The last 5, the last 10, it just doesn't happen.
On both freestyle and backstroke as well. So it's not just the one stroke he's messing up on. It's both. I don't know. Does he train yards? And so, because there is a difference between yards and meters, of course. Because I remember I swam yards once and smashed my head on the wall doing a backstroke turn. Oh my God. It takes a bit of getting used to doing that. I'm clutching at straws here. I mean, he needs to work on those. It's basic, isn't it? Surely it's basic, especially if you're
I'm not quite sure.
As well.
Not quite sure he makes the final with that kind of skill deficit on a 50. It does make a big difference on a 50.
Yeah. Do you know
any other names that stood out for you?
Yes, one, and he was in the unseeded heats. Burkov, who's where is he from? He's from Ukraine. He's the youngest swimmer going in. 21.7 is good. I can't remember how old he is now. 18, 19. So 21.7 is very, very good.
Got a very weird technique.
He does. And actually, he had a horrendous start. And he came through the field, and to go 21.7 with a horrendous start, wow. I mean, you're looking at 21.5 here. I mean, that's a final, 21.5. So really looking forward to him. Hopefully he doesn't...
if anyone gets a chance to watch back the 50s, have a look at him, because the underwater camera is fascinating. So usually you're taught to look, slightly ahead of you, Dan, for freestyle? Just slightly.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, textbook, it's supposed to be sort of diagonally, like let's say 45 degrees. But I like the idea.
He was looking like that.
Yeah, that's not...
I was fascinated.
Yeah,
he still had really high hips, a really high stroke, but he was like sighting the wall like that.
Yeah,
the whole way.
Odd. I mean, that puts you in the most unstreamlined position. You take a look at Emma Mckeon, which is something I wrote down earlier, but I didn't mention. But she keeps almost like a tennis ball under her chin and keeps her back flat. If that makes sense. So the spine is completely flat. So is the head. But he's swimming with his chin up. So he's got like a speed bump on his head, effectively, and he's causing drag.
What is he? Is he? It works for him.
I don't know. It's working. I mean, it would be interesting if he fixes that, because ultimately he could come down to sort of Dressel's level eventually. Super exciting to see what he does in 3 years' time. I mean, he might do something here. Who knows?
There was only one real name for me that could have made the final and podium who missed out, and that was the European champion. God knows what happened. Maybe he tapered for European slightly too much and couldn't double taper.
Yeah, I mean, he was the one with the weird start, or
weird
very
start.
much.
I'm not a fan.
I mean, it's what works for him. So by all means, that's if it works for you, then do it. Same with Burkhoff. If that's this weird head lift thing works for you, then by all means do it. But as an age grouper, if an age grouper is listening in, don't copy that, because you're taught to do the underwater work. Just look at Dressel. Just look at Dressel. And he misses out, unfortunately. So the European champion is out. But there's still big names in. So it should be exciting, both semis and the final as well. Just hopefully, fingers crossed.
This will get me up at 2 a.m. I'm really excited for this.
Yeah.
Women's 50 meters freestyle. No Anna Hopkin, like we said. I am truly gutted about that. Truly gutted. Honestly, I think there's so much to come from her. The front 3 might already have this tied up because they were rapid. Emma Mckeon goes to 24.02, and then Pernille Blume goes to 24.12, and Kate Campbell 24.16, 24.17?
1.5, close.
1.5. So there you go. I think Pernille Blume's a reigning champion. I think she looks good again. I wouldn't put it past her to sneak past Emma Mckeon, but those three definitely look the strongest.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to this race, the women's side, than I am the men's, weirdly, because the names are just massive, and there's a lot of dark horses in there, which we'll mention later on. But it's good. I mean, was it Olympic record? It was from Emma Mckeon. I'm pretty sure it was.
She looked really impressive, but I think that was due to quite a slow heat around her. Whereas Pernille, Blume and Kate Campbell had a pretty fast heat, and then you see the time and just like, oh, that's pretty much the same as Emma Mckeon there. But it didn't look quite as fast because there was a lot more competition in that heat.
Yeah, I've got quite high hopes actually for them. So for a couple of them, well, at least one of them to go sub 24. I mean, you're going very well if you go 23 points.
Yeah, you are. They're never getting the world record. Never getting that.
No, that's Social. Is it Social? I'm pretty sure it's Social. That is a
it's Social, and it's rapid.
23.6 from 3-4 years ago. It's quick. I mean, the 50 fly of hers is also just unbreakable. 24.4. I mean, that's just not going forever in my head. But I'm actually really excited. One of my takeaways, going from a dark horse point of view, but I don't think she might not even make finals, to be honest with you. Zhang Yufei. Now, you asked me yesterday or the day before, is she the swimmer of the meet? And it's hard to disagree right now because she is doing awesome.
She's a 53.
She's a 200 fly swimmer, going down to the 100 and getting silver, winning gold in the 200 fly. She 4x2 freestyle relay, can do a really strong 200 free as well. And she's in this 53, and she's just smashed out 24.3. Whoa!
Bad.
It's not bad at all. I mean, she needs to be talked about more. Absolutely. And we will do that on this channel because she's a superstar, not just in China, but in swimming. She's swimming really, really well. I don't think she gets on the podium. She might be lucky to make the final. She might be a bit like Anna, a bit like on the fence. If she does, then that's a huge achievement. Any other takeaways from that race?
Dark horses for me. Henique looked very good. Looked really good.
Really good start.
Another one who really doesn't get talked about enough, Kasia Wasik. Kasia Wasik trains over in America. And then, she's Polish, isn't she? She trains over in America. Really good sprint program she's with. And she looked really good at ISL for New York Breakers. She constantly winning the 50 freestyle and beating girls who have got much bigger names than her. I think she could sneak a podium if maybe Kate Campbell chokes again.
I think both those Australians are on top form. I think that the podium is set. That 1, 2, and 3. I think Emma Mckeon. Oh, actually, I don't know, but the top 3 are set. I think so. You got Mckeon, Blume, and Campbell, and then of course whichever order they happen. But I think she could sneak a podium. Let's say one of them messes up the dive or the streamline or slips water on one stroke because that's all it takes.
That's all it takes.
It's very fine details, and you got to get it right. You got to be perfect. Which, going back to Ben, maybe something didn't quite happen for him on one stroke, and then you lose momentum, and it's all over then. So that's all it takes, and she could just be one to just sneak in there. You never know. I like the starts of Cromwood Yo-Yo, but she just doesn't look quite up for it.
She doesn't look in good form. She doesn't look in that good form.
I'm afraid.
Manuel, we got a comment in the questions. Manuel made the semi-final. I was really impressed with her back end, and that comes from the fact that she was reigning, or she's 100. Previous 100-meter Olympic champion. The 50 is not for me her favorite event. But she missed the 100, and when you've got the chance to race a 50, you race the 50. So her back end will come into it in terms of her back end speed because of that 100 meters free. Does she make the final? Where is she right now?
11, joint 11.
11th. What makes the final? 24.
It'd be much the same.
24-3. 24-4 makes the final.
Yeah.
Every chance in the world she makes the final. Every chance in the world. She's there or thereabouts.
She is definitely more suited to the 100, and I'm actually kind of shocked that I haven't seen her in more relays, to be honest. So she might actually be swimming some final relays.
Abby Weitzel hasn't looked good in the 100 free, so I thought they might throw her in for a few. But we'll see.
She might actually swim the final. We never know, because she effectively has been rested this entire week for this 53. So I don't know if she's aiming for that final for the women, because they need a strong they need a strong finisher on the women's relay. Which I keep jumping. So I'm so sorry, but is she going to make the final? Maybe. Yeah, a bit like Zhang Yufei. It's very much like
we're sitting on the fence. Sitting on the fence. Yeah. Apologies. completely opposite direction. Men's 1500 meters freestyle.
Yeah.
What a stark contrast this is when you're watching the 53s and then you go into this. So, whoa, okay,
Yeah.
sit back. Dan Jervis looked very impressive for me.
He did.
Very smooth. Held his times really well throughout. I don't know if anyone else had this. I had two screens going. I had the 1500 on my phone, and then I had all of the timing splits that were coming up on the Olympic website. I actually thought that was really helpful for me to stay engaged with the 1500. I was like, oh, numbers. That's interesting.
Well, that's the thing.
And he was holding a 29. He was holding a 29 high, a 30 low for the whole thing. Goes in fifth fastest. I think that's really good for him. Really, really good. I don't think he challenges the four ahead of him because the four are world class, and Wellbrook really did go away from him quite comfortably.
It was quite comfy
in the heats.
Yeah.
But fifth place going into the final, I hope he holds fifth place, and that would be a really impressive swim, considering right now British swimming is not in a good place for distance swimming.
No, especially on the women's side, of course. We didn't even take anyone for the 4, 8 or 15. So, yeah, he is the only one that's representing on the distance. Of course, you had Kieran Bird for the 800 as well. But for the 1500 point of view, I'm actually really happy with his swim. And he looks strong, really quite strong. So I think he was 4 seconds off his PB, which is in reach, to be honest with you. I mean, his
PB at the Olympic. Actually, to be within 4 seconds is good.
Yeah, I think his target should be aiming for that British record, which has stood for a very long time, which is David Davis's. 14:46 is that record, which I think is near enough his PB anyway. He's just a couple of tenths off. That should be his target.
Would be impressive. I'll tell you what, I like that. I like that. I'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
One person I do want to give a shout out to, Irish record today for Daniel Whiffin.
Yep.
Who trains over in Loughborough with Felix Ubeck. They've got quite a good international distance program over there. He goes a 15:07, which I believe was a 6-second PB.
Big.
Can't ask for anything more at the world stage. I think he is quietly going to be an impressive distance swimmer in the years to come.
Yeah, of course, for him, the first target is to get sub 15. That's the big barrier for 1500 meters. So really, when you think about it, if you can take off 0.2 per 50, you give 0.2, 0.3, you're near enough there. I think it's within grasp or within reach for him to do that. My biggest gripe, if you like, is that 8 swimmers of this final were also in the 800 final. So we're basically repeating what we've 6 out of 8. I'm sorry, 6 out of 8. We're basically seeing the same race, is what I'm trying to say to you. Which I still just yes, have the 1500 in, but we don't need the men's 800 in. I don't know why it was included. We don't need the women's 1500 in. You're seeing this. We're seeing the same race twice.
I just want to see the 50s. I want to see. I want to see your dressels, your PTs on TV more. Doing more races. I think throw them more races is better for the sport.
I don't mind having the 1500 in because it's the ultimate test of distance swimming. And as you can see, the top 4, I mean, it's a fantastic race. Really looking forward to it. And it's a real test of stamina, endurance.
But we don't need both, is what you're saying.
You don't need both because I've seen it. I've seen this race effectively. So in my head, is Bobby Fink going in favourite again? Yeah. I don't know. I've no idea because I've kind of already seen it. So that's my little bit of annoyance from it. But
that's your rant over.
My rant's over.
Big shock that Olympic finalist from the last Olympics, Christiansen, misses out. I didn't see that one coming. When I was watching Dan Jervis's race and I saw him slowly falling off, I was like, oh, wow. Is Dan doing amazing or is he completely falling off the rails? I think it was a bit of both.
It was a bit of both. It was a bit of both. Dan did really well, and I hope that he does similar time. Well, I want him to go a British record. I'd love him to go a British record, but even if he hits the same sort of time of 14:50, I think that's pretty good. I think he's done well.
He's got 36 hours of rest now before the final on the last day, which is it's good. That's a good amount of rest. Women's medley relay time. Then we're breaking down relays. Canada go in fastest, and for me, they are close to favourites. Close. You think of the names they've got to put back in this relay team. You've got you put Kylie Mass on the backstroke. I think you stick with Pickram. She's a little bit of a weak link on the 100 breaststroke. Then you got Maggie McNeil, who went a 55.8 today. And then you'll throw Alexiak on the freestyle at the end. That's a solid team. That is a very good team.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you. Very solid team, but I'm actually thinking the Australians are going to be favourite to win because you've got Kaylee Mckeon
They don't
on
have
the
breaststroke.
backstroke. The breaststroke, again, a bit like Sydney Pickram, is the weak link. Chelsea Hodges, I think, will be swimming it. But then you've got Emma Mckeon, who obviously is a bronze medalist in 100 fly. And then you end with Kate Campbell. I mean, that's pretty good also. Honestly, I mean, is it a head-to-head? I mean, you got to throw USA in
You
there,
got
of
America.
course.
You got America. Steady.
So, but the thing I took away from it was that Molly O'Callaghan should have swam that 4x2 because she is swimming really, really well. That anchor leg that she did on the freestyle, I think if she swam that 4x2, Australia would have put in a better performance, to be honest with you, and maybe even won it.
You didn't want to put your neck out then, did you?
I didn't. I didn't because it was quite a bit of a distance, to be honest with you. I was at like a good second and a half or something. I can't really remember now.
Yeah.
But she should have swum that relay. But yeah, going back to this race, is it a three-way tie? The Italians looks all right. Yeah,
they looked good until Pellegrini got in the water, which was very odd.
Yeah, very strange. I mean, the 100 is not her distance. I think we said that many times. The 200 is her distance because she needs the lengths to get over to build it up, kind of thing. You know, in the 100, you see Chalmers build up, of course, but he's a tank, and Pellegrini isn't as much of a tank. Still a tank, but not much of a tank.
A little bit of a shock for me was Netherlands missing this final. Given the names that they've potentially got, I know their breaststroke isn't the strongest, but you got Kira Toussaint, you got Cromie Yo-Yo, you got Heemskerk. I'm pretty surprised they missed this final.
I just think the Dutch women just haven't performed actually at all, to be honest with you. Toussaint was basically holding 59s in the backstroke, both in the individual and for this. I mean, that's
59.
I mean, it's good, but it's not great. It's not ideal.
They had a 110 leg on the breaststroke. That's not good.
That's not ideal, and that's the reason they're out. There you go. That's what it is. I mean, what was Heemskerk's splits from that? If you've got them up, and needed to be,
I haven't got it up.
I haven't got it up. So she needs to go 51, which she was doing at European. She was going 51. They were looking good at Europeans, but it's just not happened for them, unfortunately. And it's not just the Dutch. You get other countries, other swimmers that are struggling as well. Morning finals, maybe. COVID with a mask. I don't know. It's all very different. No atmosphere. I don't know. I'm spitballing ideas and reasons here, but yeah, I think
who are you picking for the final, which I believe is on Sunday? Who are you picking?
Australia. You disagree?
No, I'm trying to think of the American team.
They would go Regan Smith first. And then, this is the thing. Breaststroke is a big question mark.
Go Jacoby. They go Jacoby. Don't worry about that. I'm sure of that. They go Jacoby, which is miles better than Australia and Canada if she performs.
That was a question. It wasn't the question whether it's King or Jacoby. It's whether Jacoby actually performs like she did in the individual. Because you look at Tom Dean, and he didn't perform in his split in the 4x2, really. Nor did Titmus for her 4x2, even though she was Olympic champion.
Yeah.
Don't know. It's a bit of a risky game, to be honest with you.
I'm going to go America.
Oh.
I really love the Canadian team. I actually, on paper, that's a quality team.
I'm surprised.
Just America. Regan Smith disappointed with her individual. Jacoby on fire from her individual. Tori Husk disappointed from her individual. And then I really actually don't think they swim Weitzel. I think they might swim Manuel.
Yeah, well, that's another question mark. This team is very much, I'm not quite sure who swims. They could put King in, they could put Jacoby in, they could put Weitzel in, they could put Manuel in. I'm not sure. But the thing that I was watching for was Lily King's split. I've written it down, and it was 105.5. Not ideal. Still not great for her.
No.
It's not great. But I think in my head, that was a bit of a time trial for her, because if she were to go, let's say she would go a 104 low, then suddenly,
she's on the team.
Put you in a team. But she didn't swim again or swim well again. So it's a bit of a risk on Jacoby. I mean, she might perform. I don't know, but it's still a risk in my eyes. And then I suppose if you put in Manuel at the end, that's also a risk. So I don't know. Australia for me is a safe bet. I'm surprised you didn't go with Canada, honestly, because you've just listed all the swimmers.
I like the swimmers. It's the breaststroke. It is the breaststroke.
Yeah, well, that's the same with the Aussies, really. But the other three legs, especially on the Australian team, is outstanding. Yeah. So I'm going to go with Australia. I'm quietly confident about it, actually, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Men's medley relay time. Now, before we get into, obviously, we're going to break down the GB team and American team. I actually want to talk about the Italians.
Yeah, very good.
I really like their team. I
Yeah.
really like it. So you start off with Mckeon, who's been incredible this meet. Then you go Martinenghi, who's been incredible this meet.
Yep.
Then you go Bedisso, who isn't quite a 100 fly swimmer, but he's not bad.
He's good.
And then you go Moresi, who is a quality 100 meters freestyler. That's a solid team. The only thing I've got is their swim today. I'm not quite sure if there's much improvement because Martinenghi went sub 58. Oh. That's pretty good. Moresi went a 47.4, right on his limit. It's a little bit like the GB mixed relay. Is there much improvement to come from them? I think they might upset Russia and get bronze.
Yeah, I've just looked at the world records. I thought, isn't 3:30 close to the world record? But it's actually the Olympic record that's close. So they're actually miles away from the world record. It's 3 seconds. So they're not getting that. No team is getting that. Italy on the limit. I would probably agree with you, to be honest with you. They are on the limit. They've got a fantastic team. And the fact that all of them are swimming actually at the best that they can be, they're all on form, is worrying, actually, for the rest of, well, I was going to say GB, but actually for the whole pool, because they have a fantastic threat at a podium just because they're doing so well. I mean,
we break down GB and America then, because for me, on paper right now, America are about a second faster than GB, and that's, if I'm being generous, GB are half a second, and that is being very generous. The other thing is America somehow managed to almost completely screw up their qualifying and are in lane 1, which is a bad thing. It's a very bad thing because they're completely unsighted for the whole blooming race now, and Duncan isn't going to have that marker to chase down. So if we go through the times that I reckon, if I'm being generous, if I reckon these are outstanding times. So USA, you start with Murphy, who I think might go a 52 flat. I think he might absolutely blow the doors off. He set his world record in this medley relay when he really meant it most.
He did.
I have a question mark over Michael Andrew on the breaststroke because he's not been in good form. I just don't know if they put him in or if they go Nick Fink. I just don't know. But either way, I've put that leg down as a 58.5. I'm not quite sure it's going much faster than that.
Yeah, if I'm America, I'm risking Michael Andrew because I think even Nick Fink, let's say Nick Fink's best and Michael Andrew at this meet as of right now is much of a muchness, but the capability and potential is in Michael Andrew. So I would be swimming Michael Andrew if I were them. What was it? 58? Sorry, 58.5 is within reach for both of them, to be honest with you, especially Michael Andrew.
Then you obviously go Caleb Dressel, who goes 49.5, maybe even below. Probably below.
Yeah.
And then they'll probably finish with Zach Apple, who has a lot of making up to do after the 4x2. And I'm sure he's pretty angry and is going to swim pretty fast, who I reckon could go a 46.5.
Well, he went 46.5 or 46.6 right at the start of the meet in his relays.
In the 4x1.
Yeah, and you think, oh, God, he's going to pose a real problem in the 100 free. Turns out he didn't. Actually, he kind of bottled it up, maybe, or blew up, whatever you want to call it. So, yes, probably I agree with the 46.6. Dressel will go quick. I wouldn't surprise me if he goes 49.1 with a relay takeover or something ridiculous. That's the problem, Dressel. That's the problem.
You reckon? Yeah. I reckon the problem's Murphy. So we go through the GB team. Luke Greenbank. Today he went a 53.7, which doesn't cut it.
Unfortunately,
you're not going to get gold with a 53.7. He needs to go a 53 flat, and that is ambitious from my point of view, based on his 100 so far. But his 200 looked good, and obviously he swam the heats this afternoon after the come down of winning bronze, so he's still got a bit more time to reset and do the medley.
Yep.
Now he's got a day and a half. Then you got PT, who I've got going 57. I reckon he'll go at 56.5. I reckon he'll be mad and fired up, and the pressure's now off. I reckon he could do something really special, which then puts you basically
level just ahead.
I think at that point you're level with America. You're level or maybe just behind, depending on how fast Murphy goes.
Yeah, it's one or the other, isn't it?
Then you got Jimmy Guy going in the water, who's no slouch. I've got him going a 50.5, which I've got him going a full second slower than Dressel, basically, which is hard. to make up for if you're then Duncan Scott on the anchor. I think Duncan Scott can do something special. The only difference now is Zach Apple is lane 1 and GB are lane 5.
Yeah, we've got a middle lane.
There's a lot of pull. He's not going to be completely sighted by him, which I think is a big disadvantage if you're GB, because Duncan Scott is going to have to chase him down.
Yeah, I mean, when I found out that, well, when I watched America qualify in 7th, they're in lane 1, and of course Duncan briefs to the right, and you think, oh, then he can't even see them. He briefs to the right, he's not going to see them at all on that last length. And I just don't know whether that's a bonus for America, because they're going to be they're going to be by themselves, completely by themselves, and it's going to look really weird on telly, because you've got the Italians and GB in the middle, and then you just got a lone team at the top somewhere.
Yeah.
Will that help them? I'm going to say yes, because they've got clear water, like complete clear water up there. So there's another advantage to America. Duncan will go fast, of course. They're all going to go fast, let's face it. From our point of view, we do need Luke to go ideally sub 53. He has gone 53.3 at Europeans, if I got that right. Again, he needs to do a PB. He needs to do a PB to give us a bit of a chance, to be honest with you. But
I mean, we are ever the optimist about British swimming. And as I've broken this down so many times, and I'm sounding like the American announcer for that freestyle relay, but I just can't see GB winning, which is a shame. It's a real shame. I just think the fact that America have found Michael Andrew and Murphy looks in form on the 100 is the difference. And maybe even Zach. I didn't see him going to 47 kind of mid at the start.
It's all very unfortunate, basically, that they found a breaststroker in Michael Andrew. Yeah. I mean, he might have an off swim again, but his off swim was 58.6, wasn't it, in his 100 individual, something along those lines. So it's still good enough. It's still up there in the top 5 in the world on 100 breaststroke. Yes, PT is going to go 56.5 with a relay takeover, so he's going to take potentially potentially 2 seconds out of Michael Andrew on the breaststroke, potentially. So. And then we've got Caleb Dressel to deal with, and he's looking good. He's looking good, Caleb Dressel.
That is, I really want to give GB this gold, because it's GB. We're a British swimming channel. But on paper, I think for me right now, America are clear favourites, bar some disaster, which can happen in relays.
Yeah, I mean, let's put a little bit of emphasis on Jimmy for his 100 fly, because he's got to put in a leg. He's got to put in a great leg. I mean, if he goes in level or just behind Dressel, we've got a fantastic chance with Duncan at the end. But we've got to be within touching just distance of Dressel on that fly, which is extremely hard, seeing as though I think he's going to go 49.3 in his individual. And with a relay takeover, you're then looking at 49.0 or something along those lines. And that is substantial. So, so we'll see. I mean, the Italians aren't to be written off either. You got the Russians in there, but they haven't really turned up this meet. So
and relays have been poor. They've been really poor.
Yeah, so it's a fantastic race. I mean, it's great to watch for the neutral, I suppose. I mean, we're going to be cheering on, of course. So yeah, it's going to be a good race, and it might end up bad, but we're going to be optimistic and say that Jimmy's going to be drawing level with Dressel on that leg, and then we got Duncan at the end, and Duncan's going to. I think Duncan beat Zach Apple in a head-to-head race. I do. So in Duncan we trust. So
in Duncan we trust. We almost got that hashtag going. Paul Boyd put it out there. I'm so glad. I'm keen for that to carry on.
Yeah.
And that kind of rounds up our review and preview. It's a shame it's ended on that sort of note where GB aren't going to win the medley relay. I hope they do. I really hope they do.
We've got 6 medals, which is joints the same, isn't it? From Rio, we got 6 medals at Rio.
I think there's definitely 2 to come.
Yep.
And then potentially a 3rd. So I think we can get to 8. I'm pretty confident that GB get to 8. 9 would be massive. We said we'd be disappointed if they got under 10. I think circumstances have been pretty hard out there.
Yeah.
We'll speak to a lot of the guys when they come home. And I think 9 is outstanding. Outstanding if they get there. Even 8 is amazing.
Well, listen, if we do get 9, it's 50% more than we ever got before. So that's huge, isn't it? So
math.
Yeah, well, there you go. I can do that. I think 8. Actually, I think 8 is guaranteed. And then if Ben Proud can get that 50-meter freestyle sorted and sneak a medal in there, Unfortunately, Dressel's just Dressel, so we might have to settle with silver or bronze. Overall, I mean, we're doing a review now, but we haven't got there yet. I think it's been our best Olympics so far.
Yeah, we'll get there.
So we will get there. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for everyone for sticking with us, especially the technical difficulties to start with. I appreciate that everyone found the stream again and came and joined us. We will be back again tomorrow at 7:30. I will be up at 2 a.m. So come follow us on Twitter if you haven't already, because I'll be very sleep deprived and putting out some wild predictions, as I always do early in the morning. I can't wait. Dan, thank you for getting your internet sorted, and thank you for joining us. Guys, if you have any questions, why don't we put them in there in the chat right now, and we'll answer them. I actually saw a very kind comment that I kind of want to put up on the screen.
A kind comment?
A kind comment. So we've talked about young swimmers being in their prime at Paris. I hope you guys are at your peak and doing TV commentary at Paris. I mean, TV commentary is a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. Daily TV analysis show as well. I think the worry for us is swimming slowly getting phased out of television. BBC and the Olympics is a little bit of a dodgy topic for me. I mean, they're sacking all of their Olympic correspondents after the games, which is terrible.
Honestly,
which is
shocking.
terrible.
Yeah.
We'd love to do that, but we also love doing this. So we are very keen to carry this forward. I think we're going to confirm at the end of this, but we're going to be doing, I think, a weekly live show for ISL. Dan?
Yeah,
every Sunday night, catch up on the rounds.
We haven't planned it out as such. We'd love to do a monthly chat show of whatever the topic is that we just sort of make up, or whatever you guys think of.
Where we did an ISL draft kind of thing, didn't we?
Like that, yeah. So that was fun. So I think we'll do that as a monthly thing. But with ISL, yeah, we haven't planned it out as such. We will definitely be doing live streams like this. Maybe not every day, because girlfriends do get a little bit angry with us sometimes. No, not sometimes. A lot of the time. So
it takes up a lot of time. This week has been tough on them. I do appreciate them
it has been tough
with us.
But we've. I mean, the ultimate dream, I suppose, is to be on the telly doing it proper, I suppose. But we never really have thought of that. We just wanted to build a community. That was the whole aim of doing this, because we thought British swimming, I mean, Duncan has been a prime example. He needs to be talked about more. And it's not just Duncan. It's Freya, it's Abby, it's Molly, it's all of them. And that's the reason why we started it. And hopefully it goes leaps and bounds from here. I'm so thankful that we've got AP on board, because, of course, he wants to try and revolutionize the sport, and actually to be alongside involved, associated with that name and what they're trying to do. I mean, geez, I mean, it's almost an honor, actually, to be honest with you. And we're so thankful for that opportunity. And we can't wait to speak to him when he's back, and speak to Ed at the end of all these streams that we're doing. But we're looking forward to the future. Don't get us wrong, we're very excited. We, like Scott said at the start, we've got videos planned up in the future already. So we're not stopping after Tokyo. We are carrying on, of course. So yeah.
Quick question. Do we watch any of the other events? I mean, actually, I've not had too much time yet. Once the swimming's done, I will catch up on a lot of things. Away from swimming, I religiously watch American sport. I'm huge on the NFL, on the basketball. It's why when it came to the ISL draft, I knew everything like the top of my head. Big into rugby, not massive into football. Not really. It's not since Liverpool won the league. I'm done. Come the Olympics, what events would I like to watch? I won't watch athletics.
Oh, would you not?
No, they steal the limelight from swimming far too much. I'm fed up of it.
That's all right. BMX. Yeah, BMX is quite good.
That was interesting.
I saw that we got a gold and silver in that as well. That's fantastic stuff. And a bit like swimming, I suppose, it needs to be promoted more, because I don't know if they get the funding. I've got no idea, because it was a new sport in Rio, wasn't it? That's really fun to watch.
No, it was at London. It was at
London. Oh, that's right. It was at London. Yeah. Really exciting to watch. Yeah, I mean, there's other sports out there. But
I'll catch up on it all at once the swimming's done. We've been pretty full on with swimming right now, especially with a 9 to 5 job while in the middle of all this.
I've had no time whatsoever. We've got time tomorrow because there's no heats tomorrow, so I actually will catch up on everything. So yes, yeah. What's this question here? What's this?
Do you think Duncan could do a good 400 meters free? Yeah, he could do a world-class 400 meter free, but his schedule's already enough. More than enough.
Yeah, I wonder how. I've got no issues with his stamina. Technique is obviously fine. He just has that. He has that sort of fast switch fibre, and he has that. Yeah.
Well, I just thought any event he's going to do well at.
Yeah, I think he would go 350. I think he would go for 350. And if you've got Tom Dean, I think he's able to go 346 or 340. No, he would meet the team. 348. I think he's gone. So I think Duncan wouldn't be too far away. I mean, those guys are so versatile. You got Tom and Duncan able to do a solid 100, 200, and 400. I suspect. Tom proved it at ISL, of course. So.
Another quick question before we finish. How often do you run into other NFL fans in the UK? Quite a lot, more than you would realize. It's quite a big sport over here, especially when you go to university. University American football is a big thing. We have Super Bowl parties, everything like that. I've met many of friends watching varsity American football over here, all sorts. I've been to loads of the Wembley games.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've been to the Wembley game, watched I'm
going to try and go to the Tottenham game.
Yeah,
at the Spurs, the new Spurs stadium. I can't wait to check that out. I'm not going to watch football there. I'll watch NFL
there. yeah, that's a fantastic stadium. Awesome. We need to go to that stadium. We do. It's the best in the world from what I'm hearing from. Well, I'm hearing this from Spurs fans, so of course they would say that. Yeah. But it looks like on telly, it's phenomenal. So
we're rambling and going off on all sorts of tangents here. So now is a good time to leave it there. We'll be back 7:30 again tomorrow night. I do want to say before we finish, a massive thanks to AP for powering this live stream. If you want to get helped out, if you're a swimmer, coach, or parents, then just check out the AP Race Plus platform. It is revolutionary and helps everyone out. Or if you want to get coached and meet Adam himself before the end of August, book yourself a place on the AP Race Clinics. They're happening up and down the country. You can follow the link in the description of this live stream or the one I'm about to put on the screen. Dan, I won't see you at 2 a.m., but I will let you know what happens.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a line tomorrow because I am really, really tired. But I will definitely be up for the last set of finals because I do not want to miss that 4x1 medley, and I don't want to miss Caleb Dressel-Whitten hitting a world record. I'm pretty sure I think he breaks it. I do. I think he breaks the world record, which would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for everyone who's joined us. And again, sorry for the technical difficulties to start. We will see you guys all tomorrow.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for commenting, and we will see you tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Bye.